Impact 102.1 FM is where you at. Now you know. Let's discuss big stories from the dailies that caught your attention during the week on The Big Five. Every Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on High Impact 102.1 FM. To share your views, call 0700-1021-1021 on WhatsApp 0907-224-5018. Let's hear your thoughts on The Big Five.
Good morning once again. It is 9 minutes past the hour of 7. And like I told you earlier, we were going to be taking you through the daily major headlines, the major headlines that happen from Monday through Friday right here on The Big Five. This is what we do every Saturday morning. So you probably maybe missed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, either days of the week. On Friday, we just give you the rundown of everything that has happened. So, you do not feel left out, or you do not feel like, oh, I think I missed this paper. I don't know what happened. So everything is going to be covered from Monday through Friday right now. My name is Toluwase Akimomi. You are listening to High Impact Radio 102.1 FM, your favorite and urban and lifestyle station. So quickly, on Monday, we have right here, starting from the Guardian newspaper, it says national broadcast, outrage over rehash of old policies, threats, failure to soothe protesters. We all know about the protest that happened during the week from Thursday through the weekend. And of course, on Monday, everywhere was full of so many news that happened during all this protests. So that you can find on page 6. Also, if you'd like to join us, react to these stories, you can send us a message, either text or WhatsApp to 0907 224 5018. I'll take that again, 0907 224 5018. That is the number you can send a text message to. But if you want to call, you can dial the number 0700 1021 1021. We have more stories right here, still on the Guardian newspaper. Here it says protest, 52 billion naira worth of looting, a setback to entrepreneurs, investors. That was on page 3. We still have more here. Import duty, foreign exchange rises to 1,618 naira per dollar despite Tinubu's pledges. I always mention that it's just a cycle, really. If one thing is off, it just affects the whole thing. So if one can just nip it in the bud where this particular problem is, definitely other things are going to align. But if you want to get the stories about the import duty foreign exchange, you can find that on page 3. We have more here. Nationwide protest, dialogue remains best option, says Dewey. That on page 27. We have one more before we move to the other papers. Livestock Ministry must end open grazing conflict. So recent, you must have heard that there was a new ministry that has been opened concerning livestock. So this is what it is talking about. But if you want to get more stories, you can find that on page 2. Moving on, we have here on the Punch, we have so many stories, but at the front page, where you can find it on page 2, it says here, hunger protest, Tinubu's speech attracts knocks, kudos. Hunger protest, Tinubu's speech attracts knocks, kudos. It has three writers here. One says Soyinka PDP Slam President's address. Another says protest organizers demand 1,150 detainees release. And lastly, NGO orders hail it. That is on the front page of the Punch newspaper. At the top, it says retail investors may shun bank stocks as shareholders lose 1.6 trillion naira. Retail investors may shun bank stocks as shareholders lose 1.6 trillion naira. That is on page 32. Another here is marketers stop fuel supply, queues resurface. Marketers stop fuel supply and queues resurface. You all know about the issue about the fuel rising, and yes, this is a story, but you can find more of that on page 32. Beside it, on page still on page 32, beside it, according to reports, it says public debts may hit 130 trillion naira by December. Public debts may hit 130 trillion naira by December. What is just always mind-boggling to me is, how did we get to that kind of amount for debt? Like, it just keeps accumulating, and the people who are in charge of it just keeps looking at it, keeps accumulating. Like, can you imagine 130 trillion naira? Trillion. Well, you can find that on page 32 on the Punch newspaper. I'll take one more stories below. NDLEA arrests 12 with drugs hidden in baby food things. NDLEA arrests 12 with drugs hidden in baby food things. You can find that story on pages 4 and 5. Right here on the Vanguard, still on Monday. Like I said, this is the Big 5 segment where we take you through the major headlines that happened from Monday through Friday. And right now we are on the Vanguard. Right here it says protest. Tinubu's broadcast fell short of expectations. Organizers Atiku, Soyinka, PDP, NLC, and others. This major headline is on page 5. That is what it says right here. There's so many writers to it. I'll just take two. One is saying protests continue in Lagos, Osun, Kano, others. I think the major place where there was quite a high level of destruction and violence was quite at the north. I mean, probably we heard of maybe one or two shootings down here at the south, but majorly there was a whole lot of ruckus up north. Another writer to this story is saying truckers rubbish Tinubu's protest speech, say president bereft of ideas. Truckers rubbish Tinubu's protest speech, say president bereft of ideas. That you can find all of that story on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper on Monday. And I'm moving on. Lastly, for the Daily Trust, we have here Atiku, Soyinka, Falana, others pick holes in Tinubu's speech. Many writers here. One says you can't serve bullets where bread is pleaded. Nobel laureate. Another here says broadcast didn't address protesters' demand. Human rights lawyer. Another saying no mention of insecurity in North. NEF. And lastly, according to Afenifere, he's sticking to anti-masses policies. All these stories you can find on pages 3, 4, 17, 25, and 38 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And that is all we can take for Monday. Remember, we are still going through Friday, so I'm just going to be picking it one by one. On Tuesday, at the front page, starting with the Daily Trust, Tinubu orders crackdown on protesters waving Russian flag. Page 4. So there was a whole ruckus actually about people in the north, and they were waving the Russian flag. It was quite interesting because the flag is white, red, and blue, in contrast with our Nigerian flag. So it was really a whole lot. It caused a lot of discussion during the week, like what is happening. So there are 4 writers to this. I'll just take 2. One says it's treason, defense chief warns. It's treason, defense chief warns. And luckily, thankfully, Russia was able to come out and say we've had no hand in Nigerian protests. Now, assuming they had not spoken, definitely this story would have turned upside down and taken another turn. But hey, they were able to come out to say, hey, we do not have a hand in this, so we do not know what is happening. But if you want to get more stories about that is on page 4. We have all the stories here at the top. It says federal government issues travel advisory to Nigerians visiting UK. That is on page 7. Beside that, you find data depletion. NCC orders telecos to make tariffs transparent. That also is on page 19. That is all we can take for the Daily Trust. Let's move on to the Punch and see what it says. Right here, you can find on page 2, it says hunger protest, military talks tough as pro-Russia rallies spread. Hunger protest, military talks tough as pro-Russia rallies spread. 2 writers here. One, DHQ hunts protest sponsors, governors summon emergency security meetings. And another says Russia disowns protesters, police arrest over 30, more northern states declare curfew. And also on the front page, we have different countries having their own protest. United Kingdom having theirs, pictures of theirs having theirs. Nigeria, the protests that happened during the weekend. And also Bangladesh, we have students actually protesting. They are all over. They are in their thousands, even up to the roof of the building. And I was just thinking probably it's just a ripple effect. Like one country is protesting and then others just take up their own, depending on their own case. So if you want to have more stories about that, you can find it on page 2, 27, and of course 29. Moving on to the Vanguard, we have here Kaduna Zaria boil, over 700 billion naira lost in 5 days, according to Abscon and Kasima. Kaduna Zaria boil, over 700 billion naira lost in 5 days. It's the way this money is just actually missed, and then no accountability. No accountability. We have another story here, major story. It's a court void sale of Nigeria Air to Ethiopian Airlines. You can find that on page 9. And at the top, I'll take one story. Federal government warns Nigerians on UK travels as Starmer vows swift sanctions against rioters. That is on page 8. So we are still taking major headlines that happened from Monday through Friday. If you want to react to any of the stories, just call 0700-1021-1021. Or you can even send a text message or WhatsApp message to 0907-224-5018. Now we'll move on to The Guardian lastly, and then we'll take a break. Right here on page 6, the front major headlines, it says federal government prioritizes NASS State House spendings amid MDA's funding crisis. And also we have some statistics right here of the release of funds that happened during the first half of this year. They are running in billions and trillions. They have the different categories. We have here the National Assembly. We have release of funds for National Assembly being 86.2 billion naira. Presidential Air Fleets 13.86 billion naira. State House 40.5 billion naira. And even we have the ones for MDAs in 2024 going to 38.8 trillion naira. Like, these numbers are a lot. Now, one more story. Military vows crackdown over treasonous use of Russian flags at protest. This you can find on page 6. And that is all for the Guardian newspaper. We still have more stories, but hey, let's take a break. We'll come back and of course we'll continue. Don't forget, this is High Impact Radio 102.1 FM, and this is the Big Five. We're giving you major stories that happened during the week and from Monday to Friday. So if you want to react, just send a text message or WhatsApp message to 0907 224 5018.
You're listening to High Impact Radio 102.1 FM, your urban lifestyle station.
Venue on the Sea. A perfect and top-notch location for your special social and corporate occasions. Here at High Impact Cruise, we handle your events with elegance while providing you with outstanding service. An amazing experience you will never forget. For more inquiries, call 0815-181-9580, 0818-824-5734, or visit www.highimpactcruise.com. High Impact Cruise, dream, discover, explore.
It's about to go down.
It's about to go down.
It's about to go down.
It's about to go down. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
You better be ready to say hello to the cool cash that's about to splash your way. High Cash Splash is gonna make it rain.
What do I do?
Simply dial the USSD code *347*972#. Select the amount of tickets you want to purchase, select your bank, and then you'll get an SMS with 2 payment options. Make payment and you stand a chance to win with just 500 naira. Or visit highcashsplash.com for more details.
Weird.
It's popping up on selected shows on High Impact Radio 1021. So remember, the more you play, the higher your chances of winning cool cash on the High Cash Splash raffle draw.
High Cash Splash is powered by Lasho Trading Services Limited and licensed by Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Authority. Not suited for anyone under 18. Play responsibly. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Let's discuss big stories from the dailies that caught your attention during the week on The Big Five. Every Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on High Impact 102.1 FM. To share your views, call 0700-1021-1021 on WhatsApp 0907-224-5018. Let's hear your thoughts on The Big Five.
Welcome back. You're still on the Big Five, where we're taking major headlines from Monday through Friday. And we have taken you from Monday and, of course, Tuesday. Now, moving on to Wednesday, it says right here, I told you that the whole Russia flag thingy being waved right in the north really caused a ruckus. And all of a sudden, that was like stuff people were trying to the government was also trying to look into that, what is going on and what happened. That is on Wednesday, front page for the Punch newspaper. It says Russian flag, federal government probes 4 northern political bigwigs. That on page 2. 2 writers, one saying influential political figures from Kaduna, Katsina, Bauchi suspected of sponsoring protest, and federal government deploys operatives in Niger, Chad borders, protest arrowheads to stone Russian flag wavers. Below it, it says Nigeria crude sale yet to happen according to operators. That news is on page 30. And next to it, 4 suspected cultists nabbed for killing Ogun Baba. That is on pages 4 and 5. And of course, import duty waiver on rice. Others begin next week. That, according to federal government stories, you can find on page 30. And now on the Daily Trust newspapers, front page says, protest how 4 teenagers bright to be were killed in Kano, Zaria. I'll take 2 riders. Federal government places sponsors on watch list. And the CSO's 1 security agent involved prosecuted. That one is a really, really sad story. But you can find that on pages, if you want to read more, you can find that on pages 3, 4, and 26. I'll take one more here. Why Shell declined offer to run Nigerian refineries, according to Obasanjo. That particular story is on page 1 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Right here on The Guardian, front page says FAAC allocations. Citizens wallow in misery as governors cede duties to federal government amid 5.34 trillion naira cut. There are so many statistics right here, pictorial statistics representing the total FAAC shared by states in last 1 year. So you can find the whole breakdown and more stories on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Below it, it says, and you can find on page 6, Falana backs military in denouncing protesters' use of Russian flag. Falana backs military in denouncing protesters' use of Russian flag. One more story here. After apology, APC to reinstate Ndume as chief whip. You can find that on page 30 if you want to pick more of your interest. And lastly, taking it from Vanguard for Wednesday, it says 6 Spaniards, real sponsors of rioters, arrested. Finally, so you can find here that according to the police on page 5, the 6 Spaniards, real sponsors of rioters, arrested. So many rioters here, but one says 76 other protesters arrested in Kano. 76 other protesters arrested in Kano. And we can find so many more stories here. I'll take this one. Federal government reviews Mori-bound cotton. Textile industries targets 1.4 million jobs. When I see stories like this, they are really quite disheartening. But yeah, that particular story you can find on page 17. And that is all we have for Wednesday. And now we'll be moving on to the next 2 days. Clearly on page 5 from the Vanguard newspaper, it says steer clear over internal affairs. Federal government warns foreign powers. Okay. Steer clear over internal affairs. Federal government warns foreign powers. There are so many riders here. I'll take them. We are proving 7 Polish nationals arrested over Nigerian flags in Kano, according to DSS. Thugs harass journalists, beat up protesters in Rivers. Army arrests soldier whose warning shot killed 16-year-old in Zaria. As COAS's delegation visits family and Plateau, Bauchi relax curfew. This particular story is really interesting, right? Very, very. That is on page 5. if you want to find that on the Vanguard newspaper. Below it, no, above the nameplate, let's start from there. One says, UK assures Nigerians of safety amid riots. UK assures Nigerians of safety amid riots. Beside it, NNPCL to Senate, oil and gas industry building. And again, beside it, where you can find on page 3, federal government spends $600 million on fuel importation monthly. That is according to Edu. We can take one here from the Daily Trust. Oil sector, I'll reveal the truth when time comes. That is according to Kiari. Two writers. One says Senate probes $1.5 billion spent on Port Harcourt refinery, and federal government spends $600 million. Wow, on monthly fuel importation. That is according to the finance minister. That is on page 4. And we'll just take one story here, and then we'll take a break. This is on the Punch newspaper, and it says hunger protest loses steam as DSS grills 7 foreigners. That is on page 2. Two writers. One says police cracks down halt protest. US UK demand dialogue. Northern governors relax curfew. And Sanusi blames Kano looting on intelligence failure. Tension rises as soldier shoots boy in Kaduna. And then we have a picture here that is on page 14. About some heads of states, pictures of some heads of states, and below it says Nigeria urges ECOWAS defense chiefs to curb coup. We are still on the Big Five. We'll take a break now, and then we will be right back.
Bringing you updates and information on safety and wellness with Safety Echo. Join us every Thursday by 10:30 on High Impact 102.1 FM for a journey into knowledge on a secure and eco-conscious living. From workplace security to road safety and many more. Discover hacks to protecting yourself while preserving the environment. Tune into Safety Echo and be part of a movement towards a safer, healthier, and greener future. Join us every week and let's make a difference together. Safety Echo is powered by KKF Foundation.
Ade, where are you cruising this weekend?
Omo, I'm lounging on High Impact Cruise.
What's that?
Oh, you haven't heard about Eugene One? A luxurious ultra-modern 4-story yacht. Omo, me and Dele chop life. Fabulous music. And live band play. 3-course meal and different exotic drinks on top Lagos water for 4 hours.
So how far now? What's the level?
You too can come on a cruise and have an unbeatable experience on the waters of Lagos. Dance, drinks, and 3-course meals on Eugene One. Call 0705-095-5987 or 0806-483-1491. Now for bookings.
Guy, I'm coming with you.
No. I already arranged with Pat now.
You mean my part?
High Impact Cruise. Dream, discover, explore.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information, call
0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931.
Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
High Impact 102.1 FM.
Exactly 22 minutes to the hour of 8 o'clock. It is still the Wavy Weekend Show. My name is Toluwashe Akinwumi, right here on your Urban Lifestyle Station, 102.1 FM. This is the Big Five. If you're just joining us, we are taking major headlines from Monday through Friday. We've taken you through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and now we are on Friday, right? But hey, I saw one story that was Vanguard. I just shared it now. That is on page 5 about the federal government warning foreign affairs that stay clear of our internal affairs. Now, it really piques me because if they are warning them, yeah, I know that it's not good to like put your nose where it is not needed, right? But at the same time, probably if these people are seeing that something funny or fishy is going on, and then they are trying to like probe, and then you're now saying that, you know what, stay clear. Go away. Don't put your nose where it is not needed. One, I feel probably it's not necessary, right? Because if something is fishy and people are saying that, okay, something is off somewhere, I think they should. Fine, there will be boundaries. But when you tell them that, look, stay clear of our internal affairs, what happens in our home, it is none of your business, then I beg to differ. That should actually be looked into. Okay, so we have right here a text message. It says, good morning, my sister in the studio. Hello, good morning. Namdioye is from Ogwa. He says, on bad economic reform and mass protest, there is no bad economic policy without another good alternative to it. Interesting. Please, federal government should introduce another economic reform that will make our naira regain its former strength, at least 200 naira to $1 at official rates, or the parallel exchange market that will stop this our present economic woes of hue and cry all over this country over high cost of living, hunger, suffering, and mass poverty, coupled with the insecurity in this country. Otherwise, this federal government is going nowhere economically. Can you imagine Nigeria, the so-called giant of African's currency, is one of the worst or weakest currency in Africa, if not the lowest in the continent? No wonder there is mass japa or mass exodus of Nigerians to those Africa countries and beyond, whose economy and currency are far better than Nigerian economic and currency. Thank you for that, Nandio. Yeah. You know, I mentioned at the beginning, before we started the segment, I said it's a ripple effect. If one thing is off, the rest will be affected. People are saying that the dollar has risen. A few days ago, I think it was on a Wednesday, I just checked, the dollar rate is like 1,600, and we are still in August, and I'm like, how is it going to be like by December? How is it going to be like by December? It's like every month, another $100 is like another 100 naira actually is being added every single time, and this thing is affecting. It will definitely affect the prices of fuel because, like I said, it is a ripple effect, and Nnamdi Oye has also mentioned it here. It is a ripple effect. If this is affected, this will be affected, this will be affected. Honestly, I'm really hoping if the Nigerian currency can go back to that low, because I mean, I still remember when it was 150, as well, 150 when it was like 300. It was strange, and as at then, we were still complaining that what kind of a thing is that? How will a dollar to a naira be in 150? That is too much. And now it's 1,600, and the year has not even run out yet. I don't know what to say, but I really hope something is going to be done. I am also hoping that with this whole gbas here and there, it is a shaking that will cause something to come out, because this shaking is too much, and then for nothing to just come out of it, it's a waste. So just to take you through Friday, we just have a few more minutes before the segment ends. Right here on the front page, big stories, pages 4 and 5, according to The Guardian, White Elephant Projects, billions in drains as Southeast struggles with abandoned mega projects. Billions in drains at Southeast struggles with abandoned mega projects. So this is weird. This is weird. So there's a picture here. Actually, it's in form of comedy. It says Southeast. There's a man, of course, dressed like someone who's from the Southeast, holding a bag of money in Nigerian currency with his project, and then the contractor is looking sad. You know, it's kind of weird. And below it says, I need to have my legacy project. Forget the past. New projects are the most profitable. But it says right here that billions in drains as Southeast struggles with abandoned mega projects. I am just thinking, isn't there like a blueprint or something that to go by? Like, how do you start something and then billions are in the drains? How will you start something and then at the end of the day you just leave it with the whole money? Wasn't there a plan? What isn't there a plan? Honestly, people really need to be accountable for the actions that they take. You can't just do something and then just go scot-free with it. You know? It's terrible. Okay, so moving on, we have that is on pages 4 and 5. Right here that you can find on page 29. Federal government halts sale of 40,000 naira subsidized rice to civil servants. Federal government halts sale of 40,000 naira subsidized rice to civil servants. Now, my question is why? I mean, they finally did it, even though that was not like the main solution. But hey, they finally did it, and now they are halting it. Why? You can find on page 29. Beside it, still on page 29, Afeni Ferry kicks against Igbo must go in quote threat. Divisive rhetoric. Pardon me. Divisive rhetoric. And Feni Ferry kicks against Igbo must go in quote threat. Divisive rhetoric. That also is on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper. I'll take one more story. Plato. Kaduna relax curfews as group alleges extrajudicial killings. Plateau, Kaduna relax curfews as group alleges extrajudicial killings. That you can find on page 30. Now we move up on here to the Daily Trust, and front page says, what we lost during protest, traders, transporters. What we lost during protest, traders, transporters. There are 4 riders here. Over 5 billion naira worth of goods looted. Kano businessman. I told you that I'll say that the protest was okay, was peaceful right here in the south. There wasn't so much of ruckus than it was in the north. There were a lot of killings, there were a lot of lootings, and we can find it right here as the Daily Trust is telling us. More riders to that story. Our supplies truncated. Borno Yobe traders. And another says we are caged in Jos. We are caged in Jos. And lastly, one says curfew relaxed in states. I cannot imagine how it was right up in the north, right? I mean, this protest was to like air out our views and let the government know the kind of pain, but it turned out to be the other way around. I mean, you can see pictures right here of burnt vehicles, of trucks, of cars, of buildings. It's terrible. Like the pictures are quite disheartening. Broken shops everywhere, so scattered. Terrible. So all of that story you can find on page 4. We have more here. Federal government suspends plan to sell 40,000 naira subsidized rice to civil servants. Again, I was asking why, but you can find that story. You can find that story on page 10. I mean, you finally you've done a a plan. You said, okay, this is going to be what is going to be happening. Now you are stopping it again. So, moving on. On page 11, we can find a former CAF president, Issa Hayatu, dies at 78 years old. And then Niger pit collapse. 4 more bodies recovered after 2 months. There was a building that collapsed, and we are still recovering bodies from that. You can find that on page 6. Below the nameplate, still on the Daily Trust newspaper, hunger protest disquiet as security operatives raid NLC headquarters. Beside it, we have 25 die in Bayelsa, Jigawa boat mishap. And lastly, again, you find address poverty or compromise future generations. Action Aid tells federal government. And I agree. One of the major things that has been consistent with the major headlines that we see maybe this week or last 2 weeks, you just find it hunger protest. Like, amidst the fact that yes, fuel is here, this is there, people are hungry. Like, this dollar rate is making things so expensive, and you don't even know when next again or what else people are going to get their next meal from. So amidst all the fact that yes, this is expensive, a major thing is food. People are hungry and they are showing it. They are angry. They are hungry. They are angry. It's really terrible. Okay, Nnamdi Oye is also reacting again. Is a God favor you, my sister in the studio. Thank you, Nnamdi. He says here on Mr. President broadcast to the nation and his achievement in 1 year. Nigerians want to see that their good welfare are being taken care of by the federal government, like eating 3 square balanced affordable meal a day, and not want the same federal government have selfishly achieved economically for the nation in their own selfish gain. When an average poor Nigerian is dying of hunger and poverty because of the weakness of our naira, which brought about this continuously high cost of petroleum products like fuel, orders, and with the high increase of transport fare, food stocks, and other necessary products in the markets, and in addition, the insecurity in the country, especially in the north, which scare away many Nigerian farmers from the farm nationwide. Yeah, we talked about it during this week. Like, when the farmers are not there and they are not able to plant, definitely there will be no harvest and there will be scarcity of food. And from there, you find out that things are expensive. They can't go to farm. They can't do anything. There is scarcity of food. Of course, the ones that are in the market are going to be more expensive. Why? Because this is the whole thing of economics, demand and supply. There isn't enough and people want to make money. So all of these things, like I said, these are like ripple effects. One thing is affected and the others are affected. Pardon me. Thank you for that again, Nnamdi Oye. We're moving on to the Punch. We've got like 8 more minutes before the segment ends. Hunger protest. If you still want to react to the stories, send a message, WhatsApp or text to 0907 224 5018. And we're also picking calls 0700 1021 1021. I'll take that again, 0700 1021 1021. We're moving on to the Punch. It says hunger protest. Victims, families recount ordeals, demand bail out. This rider says Gombe, Kano traders, Kasina churches count losses. Borno families relieve pains. These things are really sad. That you can find on page 2. At the top, it says NNPCL demands 4.7 trillion Naira petrol imports refund. Ooh. And the writer here says, the story is on page 21, but the writer here says, forensic audit of 2.6 trillion Naira NNPCL subsidy claims still ongoing. FAAC panel. That story is on page 21 if you want to find out more about it. Beside it, Dangote Refinery designed to process Nigerian crude, according to CEO. Page 21 of the Punch newspaper. Again, this was so annoying that it took the whole of all the major headlines of the newspaper, for Punch, dailies, everywhere. It's still the story. Federal government suspends registration for 40,000 naira rice. Again, why? You can find that on page 19. How do you make a plan and then you stop it again? Below it, APC opposition dash over NLC secretariat invasion. You can find that on page 7. And then lastly for the Vanguard newspaper for yesterday, Atiku Obi CSOs others fume over raid of NLC HQ by security agents. One writer here says we're still shocked by invasion, and another says raid, sign of Tinubu's disregard for democracy, according to Adeyoju. This you can find all on page 5. And then we have right here a picture of a gas explosion. Gas explosion triggers fuel station fire. So right here it's showing a picture of a fuel station that has been set ablaze. The trucks, everything is on fire. Vehicles have been damaged. It's all black, smoky and all. So it's the mobile filling station along Obafemi Awolowo Way, Ikeja, which was set ablaze after an explosion from a gas tanker discharging its contents to the storage tank and the filling station. That happened yesterday. Beside it, we can find Afeni Ferry to Tinubu saying probe killings, calls for military intervention during protest. You can find that on page 10. And above the nameplate, we have some stories here. Edo Guba, 17 parties nominate only 55.6% of polling units, coalition agents. That is according to INEC. To find more about that, go to page 7. And I'll take just one more story. African Human Rights Commission seeks probe of brutality of protesters, according to journalists. And you can find this on page 4. And those were the stories, the major stories that happened from Monday through Friday. Again, this is the Big 5 where we take you through major headlines that happened. And so if you missed any particular day, I'm sure you are abreast with what has happened during the week. And then on Monday, we'll take you again, starting from 7 a.m., of course, of what is happening around your country, just so that you know what is happening and what is around the country. And hey, guess who is here? Hello. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm frustrated.
I am always frustrated every Saturday morning.
I am annoyed.
What's going on again?
Yeah, because I don't know. Like I said, I come from the Lungu, so my area is always packed with trucks and trailers, and all these trucks and trailers. So probably on Friday night, Saturday, I think that's when they actually move around more. So overnight they actually break down. And when it's overnight weekend, these people actually move the vehicles out of the road. On work days, they don't have the levity to actually do that, because they feel like it's weekend. People don't really go out on the weekend, so then there is a backlog of traffic. But today, thankfully, I got into a vehicle before I entered into the traffic. Do you understand? So I was now stuck in the middle
of the traffic.
Hey. It was very annoying. It was really annoying. It was frustrating because I felt like the other Saturday that I trekked. Please, that Saturday was
sorry.
Please. So today that I didn't know trek, so I was like, okay, it's better than the last time. Yeah, but we had to stay in the trek for like an hour or so. It's really annoying because I wake up early.
Right, and you
very
feel like
early.
you'll be able to like meet up and everything. At the end of the day, it's still the same.
Yeah, it's just like the Nigeria economy, so everything is just doing us like that. Well, I think we have a call. Okay. The Big Five show on Saturdays, 7 to 8 a.m. Every Saturdays, we just give you the roundup of what happened on the newspaper review from Monday through Friday. So in case, peradventure, you missed any of the headlines on the newspapers, the Big Five show is the day you can just part your mind, just be free to say anything concerning any of the headlines that caught your attention during the week, or you want to just say something or rant about the economy, about the country. Saturday morning, the phone lines and the messages are always open from 7 to 8. So you can send as many messages, you can call us as many times as you can. Every Saturday, call us on 0700-1021-1021, while the messages line, WhatsApp or text is 0907-224-5018. So yeah, I'm excited now because I'm back. I'm in the studio, and I'm excited because it's a wavy weekend show.
Don't worry, don't allow anything annoy you.
Yeah,
Lagos can be like that.
It can be very
it's
annoying.
Constant.
It can be. and sometimes today I was kind of like, why always Saturdays? Saturdays, why?
It's when people are supposed to be chilling, but then you see people are traveling. I don't even know which days are busier, weekends or weekdays.
It can be very annoying. Like it can be very annoying. I sent you videos now.
Yeah, I was like, hi, now wow,
it can be very
serious.
annoying.
Honestly,
It is serious. It is serious. So yeah, that's actually breakdown, and that's the last paper you took, right? So
yeah, that's
so
the last. We're done.
So yeah, expect 1 hour of great music. Don't worry. In between, we might just give you a little bit of gist, a little bit of amable. So you want to stay tuned with us on your urban lifestyle station. From 9, we'll definitely have conversations. But yeah, like I said, we'll come back in between to give you gist. So we'll tell you what and what you should look up to on the Wavy Weekend Show. Oluwatomi Owoborode is my name.
And Toluwashe Akiomi. Join us again next week. For now, it's music up the way.